Mr. Zhulkarnain Abdul Rahim.
Madam Deputy Speaker, I declare my interest as a board member of Casa Rauda, a crisis shelter for women and children facing family violence here in Singapore. I rise in support of the motion and in particular the action areas in the white paper on increasing protection against violence and online harms. Ending family violence and preventing online harms require a multi-pronged approach involving many parties. Men, husbands, fathers, brothers, sons can be advocates and allies for the cause. But men can also be victims of violence or online harms as well. I'm thus heartened to see the white paper involving the feedback of many men and setting out what men can do to make a difference. First, we can raise awareness, make it easier to report, make help more accessible, and make reporting safer, not just for survivors, but also for whistleblowers. Second, we can help change mindsets that violent or misogynistic behaviors have no place in our society. Third, we can rethink the way we tackle family violence and rehabilitation efforts in our community. First, raising awareness. Recently, in conjunction with International Women's Day, PAP Women's Wing provided a resource toolkit for activists to assist anyone facing online harms. I was involved in this together with honorable members Ms. Nadia Ahmad Samdin and Ms. Henny So. Together with Defence Guild SG, we held talks to raise awareness on online harms. Defence Guild SG is a ground-up initiative of lawyers which I founded following the incident of the lewd online poll on female religious teachers in the Muslim community. The pro bono lawyers provide assistance and advice to victims of similar online harms and sexual harassment. However, there needs to be protection for whistleblowers as well. We need people who would either be brave enough or feel safe enough to stand up, speak out, and take action against such behaviors, be it in the real world or online. Besides awareness, we need a network of support and information accessible to those who need it and make it easier and safer for reporting. For example, in Taiwan, crisis shelters sometimes are held in the same building as the police station itself. Late last year, France rolled out an initiative to facilitate the lodging of reports on family violence by survivors from where they have found shelter, so that they can be in an environment where they feel safe. I'm grateful that MSF has adopted my suggestion on the hand signal for Break the Silence campaign to provide non-verbal cues for family violence reporting. The government has also, in response to my previous PQ, will enhance the National Anti-Violence Helpline to include text messaging service or app, which would allow discrete queries or reporting. In Australia, such resource websites incorporate a clear history or have a quick exit button, which brings the reader quickly to a nondescript Google page, for instance. Through such efforts and awareness, we hope we can shift mindsets of our society. Madam Deputy Speaker, in Malay, please. Tahun lalu, Casa Rauda menganjurkan tinjauan dan perbincangan antara golongan bapa dan kaum lelaki di Klub Masyarakat Kiat Hong untuk memahami kesan pemikiran patriarki terhadap keluarga dan kaitannya dengan keganasan keluarga. Sepertiga daripada responden bersetuju bahawa ketua keluarga yang mempunyai pemikiran patriarki boleh merosakkan keharmonian keluarga. Pemikiran patriarki, misoginis dan keganasan tiada tempatnya dalam masyarakat kita. Anjakan minda untuk memupuk kesaksamaan perlu bermula dari rumah. Oleh itu, kertas putih ini penting untuk kita semua. Setiap antara kita merupakan pemimpin keluarga masing-masing dan mampu mencerminkan pribadi yang dapat dicontohi. Apabila ahli keluarga saling bantu-membantu, natijahnya keharmonian keluarga dan kemakmuran masyarakat. Madam Deputy Speaker, a change in mindset on family violence requires rethinking a more inclusive approach. In Australia, Victoria State's initiative called the Orange Door provides access to comprehensive services for those experiencing family violence so that they can feel safe and supported. It also provides services for men who resort to violence so that they themselves can get help. In Singapore, our family violence service centers also act like a one-stop center for assistance and links survivors to other forms of help. However, beyond survivors, we also need to assist men to get the help that they need, be it in parenting, anger management, or conflict de-escalation. Hence, I'm heartened that the Task Force on Family Violence has recommended to strengthen the rehabilitation of perpetrators, including mandatory counseling program and treatment to reduce the risk of violence recurring. Such efforts preserve relationships and the family unit in the longer term. This is better for the family's financial and housing security too. Now, survivors of family violence are more likely to live in interim rental housing upon discharge from crisis shelters. Based on data from Casa Rauda, the number of beneficiaries who went on to live in rental housing upon discharge has gone up from 40% in 2017 to over 70% in 2021. Further, almost two-thirds of them are still unemployed upon discharge, despite trainings and upskilling efforts. Of those who are employed, about 80% earn less than $2,000 per month. These women face challenges in getting affordable accommodation, sometimes to be near their workplaces or their children's schools. A new way to envision crisis shelter service delivery, perhaps. I recall many years ago when volunteering at Casa Rauda Crisis Shelter, I brought my daughter along. There she saw many girls her age playing with their mothers. The crisis shelter was nice but secluded. It's gated, and some may say isolated. When I explained to my daughter why the other girls were there, her reply stumped me. She asked, they didn't do anything wrong. Why must they be here? Why can't they go home? Why can't the bad people move out instead? Our approach towards family violence has always been to tread carefully with relationships and balance that with the safety of survivors in a confidential setting, mostly away from the public glare. In the Netherlands, the Orange House, established in 2011, changed this thinking behind crisis shelters. The Orange House, located right in city center, provides shelter and care in a safe but open and visible setting within the community. Their motto is, quote, not secret but safe, unquote. Their interventions break with the traditional behind closed doors approach. It means working with all family members, including, if safety allows it, the ex-spouse or perpetrator. The focus is on the impact of family violence on children and safe parenting. Perhaps we can consider a similar more visible, more accessible shelter, which will not only be empowering to survivors, but also sends a strong signal to the rest of society that we stand by them, alongside them. It would also be, and it must be, welcoming to men who are perpetrators themselves but want to seek help. In conclusion, here in Singapore, we cannot afford to sweep family violence under the carpet. With greater awareness, change of mindset, and a whole-of-nation approach, we can end family violence and with it, online harms from our society. Thus, I am glad that both the white paper and the recommendations of the Task Force on Family Violence are moving towards greater intervention, closer cooperation, and rehabilitation efforts amongst all stakeholders. There are wounds that do not appear physically, but they hurt more and they leave deeper scars. Such is the emotional trauma caused by family violence and online harms. I support the white paper and this motion and the action plan set out by the government. We must target zero violence and online harms against all. This is our collective effort. Men are not just allies because we are good men, but because we are all meant for good. Thank you.